It's the British colonialist Winston Churchill who called it the Pearl of Africa. And it is home to a population of 32 million people, and children constituting of 50% of the population, according to a survey carried out by the population census in 2006. Bustling with economic activities and the rapid growth of the institutions, the church has taken priority in capturing this rapid population growth with the mainstream of worship as a way to create God-fearing and social communities for a better living today and tomorrow. In Uganda, the church took center stage in the early 1880s with the introduction of the Roman Catholic Church and the Protestant Church at the forefront, preaching the Word of God, worshipping. Namirembe Cathedral, standing on Namirembe Hill, represents the Protestant Church based in Canterbury. And Rubaga Cathedral on Rubaga Hill, representing the Roman Catholic Church in Romo, remain the traditional churches that spearheaded the preaching of the Bible and the fear of God in the 1880s. Today, the church has widely grown with different denominations coming up to try and cater for every individual and society, spreading the Word of God and advocating for social responsibility and well-being and the love of each other for now and ever. In creating social responsibility and advancing the interests of the church, other institutions are growing stronger in building and instilling social norms and values in society. This has been seen in schools where the church has stretched its arms in engaging both the young and old in social activities both in and out of class. In enhancing this, the church embarked on participatory activities, constructing some of the institutions, such as schools, theological institutions, that have remained traditionally church-founded. Here, the church put a firm foundation in education alongside education. In effecting its activities and strengthening the call of prayer, the church also took initiatives in investing in the health sector by constructing hospitals as a way to keep the strength of the church. In determining its role in spiritual growth of society and well-being, children had suffered a setback of isolation, less attention, and denial of participation in church activities. As a young generation, their call was less attended by both church and society. Today, there is need for society to pay critical attention to children, for the future lies in their hands. This documentary is about how World Vision Uganda is partnering with the church to transform the well-being of children in the community. World Vision Uganda, a Christian-based organization that focuses mainly on children, started a 5-year campaign project to turn the attention and attitude of the church towards children. This was done by developing a partnership strategy with the church to help.
World Vision is a child-focused organization, and that is the core of our business. Children is the core of our business. So for every intervention that we undertake as World Vision, the end product is that the child should benefit. Whether we are sinking a borehole in the community, the child is the primary focus. The other members of the community are only secondary. So as a child-focused organization, the project had to focus on the child well-being. So in the building of the capacity of the church leaders or school teachers that we are working with, at the end of the day, we want to see how are they managing to nurture children so that the children are able to enjoy the good relationship with God and also share the same relationship with their neighbors? How are we able to progressively monitor the growth of these children, both physically and spiritually, with the help of caregivers, church leaders, and people in the community that support children in growing? It was also out of a realization of four things that the church wasn't addressing. One of them I've already alluded to, that they focus a lot on spiritual issues and forget the spiritual aspects that affect the community. But then also the church tends to focus more on adults and forget the young people, the children. So we wanted the church to give attention to the young people also, the children, so that this is the young church that is growing, that is going to take over when the old people have moved away. Then we looked at, other than the Anglican and the Catholic Church, which has their leaders that are trained theologically and leadership, the Pentecostals and others, most of their church leaders do not have any theological background or training. But also, when you look at the lower level of these established churches like the Catholic, the lay readers and the catechists are also not theologically trained. They just go and teach. So we focus for those big churches, the lay readers and the catechists, but then also our Pentecostal pastors that are not theologically trained, so that we train them in some theology and leadership skills so that they can be able to manage. Because every Sunday, a church leader has got this podium and he has got this pulpit to stand in front of people and speak to them, and people listen. Church leaders command big respect in the community, and church leaders are actually taken as people who hear from God, and when they speak, people do listen. So we took the church as an institution that would help us actually deliver this message well to the community.
The program is set to deal with children issues in the 5 regions of the country, focusing on the 10 districts. These include Gulu, Oyam, and Kole in northern Uganda, Hoima, Bulisa, and Bundibujo in western, Mbale and Butaleja in eastern, Nakasongola in central, and Rakai district in the south. The organization took a strategic approach focusing on key major areas of holistic child development: theological education, HIV and AIDS, advocacy, spiritual nurture of children, and peace building.
The pastors who are selected from these churches are mainly the leaders and people who are within the leadership role, and they come and undertake various trainings. The trainings they undertake include the theological education training, which is basically building their skills on theology and church leadership and administration. We have trainings in Channels of Hope, which is all about HIV/AIDS related work, how churches and pastors can be involved in building the people's lives, especially in the field of HIV/AIDS. We have a training in community voice actions, mainly about advocacy, where churches and pastors are equipped with skills on how they can become good advocates for different things in the communities, service provisions and all that. We have a training in holistic child development, where pastors are also trained in handling children, the spiritual nurture of children and caring for them. They are trained in handling Sunday school, which is another key component in the church that has been neglected several times. When we have several other equipping programs that enable the pastors to be able to be well grounded in the way they do their work.
The relationship of the church and the children, as you know, children are being marginalized, in our society. Let's talk about Africa. So what we do, we bring these children that they are also human beings like we are. We are teaching them in Sunday schools. We have developed Sunday schools classes. For example, like in my church, I have about 3 Sunday school classes. That is from 1 year to about 3 years. That is a different class. 4 years to 6 years, that is a different class. Then 7 years to 12 years, that's also another class. We have free Sunday school teachers and free classes. But we are totaling to children of about 100 in number. We have them. All children, these are not for all only for Christians in the church, but also for the people around the area. They come and join us during Sunday school, because we have also had Sunday school activities, of which engage in playing what materials. The church has provided some local playing materials, and we also give them a cup of porridge and during Sunday services, which attracts. It has helped us so much to attract these children, come together. They want the services. So when they come, we preach to them, we teach them, we show them majorly the love of God.
The organization also looked at the church as a means to fight stigma among persons living with HIV and AIDS, but also helping in the fight against its spread. Here, trained church leaders and teachers took the lead in preaching the Word of God and counseling both the young and old where the church was invited, and schools.
I was also picked from the church to go and attend a workshop organized by the Channel of Hope in Rira here. We stayed for a week, then we went back to go and help those who are living positively in the villages, because it was church-based. But for me, I did not only say that since it is the church-based, I'm a teacher. I began from my school. Now with children, I go to the parents. I talk to them, and we get a way of helping them, because some of the parents were denying these children school. They were denying them the basic needs, especially at school, that they are useless, they are dying anytime. But when I tried to identify some parents, I went to them physically, I talked to them, they changed the attitude. They are bringing their children at school, they are giving them what they need. In case there is a problem, they come to us and talk, and we help them in one way or the other. I also talk to them that they should take those children, they test them, and they find out the real situation or status of the children. As I talk now, I have 7 who are getting these RVs in the nearby health center, that is Bobby. They go with their parents, they come to us, they tell us that, Madam, today we are going to get our drugs, and they move. We give them permission to go. I'm also happy that one of our positive living child is now in senior 2 now, and the parents are taking care of her very well, and she's doing very well.
It also took the organization a considerable amount of time sponsoring peace-building workshops, focusing on peace-building and conflict resolution skills and techniques on handling and dealing with children.
From wellbeing, they were embarking on peace building for the child to know that there should be peace. When you are growing, there should be no war. There should be peace, peace at home, peace at the school, peace in the community. There should be peace. And the peace should, if the peace breaks, if there is no peace, there should be a way of solving. Especially, you will even find that a child has no peace with the parents. As a trained person by World Vision, how do I handle that? I have the techniques now. I should know the real cause of the problem. Then I sit them down. I become a mediator.
The organization worked hand in hand with CARNAC, the Children at Risk National Collaboration. CARNAC, an umbrella bringing together Christian agencies. CARNAC engaged more on training Sunday school teachers in various capacities to enhance children's programs in churches on Sundays. Today, Karnak rounds its arms and is proud to work with 420 churches promoting children. Juma Patrick Wangira is the national coordinator, and he explains.
Karnak is a network that brings together Christian organizations that work at a national level in Uganda with children. So we bring Christians together so that we are able to work together as Christians to improve the quality of the life of children and their well-being in church, in our organizations, and also in communities. We have realized that when a child is born in a family, in a home. Then when he grows up a little bit, he goes to school, then he goes to church, but he also interacts with the community. We have seen churches putting up projects for vulnerable children, which wasn't the case, or if it was the case, then it was at a very small extent. But now we are seeing churches are